Piers Morgan collaborated with the Mossad in order to help Israel kill Professor Saeed Mohammed Marandi of the University of Tehran? Hear me out. Professor Marandi is a very well-known prominent figure who often goes on Western media outlets in order to debunk Zionist imperialist propaganda. Professor Marandi was preparing to clash with Piers Morgan when Israel bombed Press TV where he was located. Weird, I thought Israel's goal was to get rid of Iranians' nuclear facilities. Why are they bombing Press TV and trying to murder journalists and intellectuals? It's almost like this is a war on the Iranian people instead of a war just to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb. And because of his work exposing the genocidal crimes of the Israeli state, Professor Marandi has become enemy number one for the Zionist regime. So it makes sense that Israel wanted to target him. The question is, how did they know that he was going to be at Press TV giving an interview at that time? Did Piers Morgan set up Professor Marandi? Piers Morgan is a known Israeli asset who's been providing non-stop propaganda in order to justify Israel's genocidal war. Considering the Mossad has their hands all over the media in the UK, it wouldn't surprise me if Piers Morgan set up Professor Marandi. Thank God that Professor Marandi survived Israel's assassination attempt. Godspeed to him and the entirety of the Iranian people who are currently resisting Israeli terrorism.
What's poppin', my friends, my family? Welcome to another edition of RBN and DDG. We didn't even have this scheduled today. Like, there was so much going on. We was like, bro, we had to go live. I want to introduce our co-host, friend of the RBN network, and I've been greatly enjoying this series between RBN and DDG. What's poppin', my friend Sarah? How you doing?
Hi. What the hell is going on? I am losing my mind. I'm like trying to take breaks, and I can't take breaks.
No, it's too crazy. It's too wild to be taking breaks. I'm doing breaking news streams. I had to hit Fiorella Isabel. I'm gonna hit her up. I'm gonna hit Nico House up. I had to call the whole crew, man. I'm still trying to nail a date with Dr. Sabrina. She joined here soon. I had to call the whole squad because things are crazy. The world. You have these batshit crazy Israelis that are trying to drag the world into World War III.
Sorry.
I want to show you guys this video. Let's start with this. We start here because we got a lot to talk about. This is the batshit crazy Israelis that are plunging the world into never-ending conflict, and they're just celebrating the concept of never-ending. They are broken people. People don't talk about the fact that these Jewish supremacists, they are brainwashed from a young age to hate Arabs, to be on a nonstop quest for conquest, the domination of the Goys, the non-Jews, putting the non-godly people back in their place. That one of the things that radicalized me very early on was those videos from Abby Martin. Do you guys remember when Abby Martin would talk to Israelis and they would just casually bring up genocidal sentiments? So this is more of that. Let me play the video.
We found Tehran. We found Tehran. We found Tehran. Cause when you're messing with the Jews, you're always gonna lose. It's God's plan, and God rules the land. Bum, 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 Iran. Bum, 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 bum.
It's God's plan, Sarah.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham actually sung this before.
Yeah. Funny enough, he's gonna come up here soon too, because there's not enough discussion about, like, the idea of bombing Tehran. You guys say the neocons, they turned into a song.
Thank God Brian Wilson passed away, so he doesn't have to see this travesty. My God. Lead singer of the Beach Boys, by the way, who created that song.
So we know Judaism isn't Zionism, but when you have Jewish organizations that is endorsing this kind of mentality, Jewish organizations show wall-to-wall support for Israel's strike.
I like what you're doing on Twitter lately, how you're calling this stuff out yesterday, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. But yeah, I really like this kind of angle that you're looking at.
Yeah, because not talking about Jewish supremacy, and this it's a giant problem. It's not even about making, because I do think it's a bad idea to try to make this about religious struggle, to make this about what religion is worse or not. But how can you ignore the fact that we have an entire society that was brainwashed from day one to feel like they have the right to commit any crimes they want against non-Jewish people? And then you can't say that there are aberrations, because why are these Jewish organizations supporting them? Like, go to these synagogues, go to the Jewish organization and ask them to condemn the bombing of Iran, and look at what they say to you. But that's just a side point. I'm gonna show you guys. Like, MAGA surprise, Donald Trump has Jewish grandkids. Remember, people get pissed when I bring this up, but it's very relevant. He married his daughter to one of the biggest Zionist Jewish people ever, and Jared
not
Kushner.
the sons, though, just the daughter, right? Isn't that interesting?
You gotta show your loyalty. The same way that Kamala Harris married her AIPAC handler.
It's very kind of royal-esque. Like the
yes.
It's very creepy.
You guys know I was obsessed with the CIA for a long time, and there was CIA agents explained it. So I remember there's a segment on Jon Stewart that lives rent free in my mind, where Jon Stewart, he loved to rehabilitate and interview CIA assets. This CIA person, I'm so upset I didn't remember the name. One day I swear to God, one day I will find this receipt for you guys. This CIA person was just casually saying, yeah, we know in the business, in our culture, we marry each other. We have wives who are part of the CIA. If they're not part of the CIA, we'll marry someone in the FBI. We'll marry someone in the military, because it's a way to show the establishment that you want to tie your blood to the empire. That's how loyal you are. If you're willing to build an entire family around the CIA, like if you're a guy and you marry a woman from the CIA, you're telling the establishment that you want to tie your blood and your family around the CIA. It's one of the things that is a sign that you will forever be loyal. And I'm not bullshitting. CIA people talk about this all the time. It's old school royal politics. So what did Donald Trump do? A developer in New York, where you could not survive without the blessings of the Zionists. Marry your daughter off to Jared Kushner. Oh, you can't bring that up. That's anti-Semitic. No, we are beyond the point where we are pulling our punches, protecting the feelings of these genocidal monsters. Are we supposed to be shamed for noticing shit, Sarah?
Yes.
We are professional noticers.
Now it's illegal to notice things.
Go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead.
So now it's illegal to notice things. I don't even know. We don't even know what unconditional surrender is. I was like, well, what are we surrendering to? What are we surrendering with? What are we giving? Like, there's what are we surrendering? I don't even know what's happening.
People are wondering why Trump is going on this MAGA meltdown. This is why I'm hammering the MAGA influencers who fell for this. Because imagine how low IQ you have to be to fall for this game show host, not just once, right? Oh, come on, Nick, don't be mean to these people who fell for Trump once, but twice, fam. Twice. This guy who's never apologized about supporting Israel, who married he got Jewish Zionist grandchildren. And people like Dave Smith, like, we gotta take on the empire. He didn't care. Like, he got 3D plans to overthrow Benjamin Netanyahu. Like, yeah, right. I am forgiving of the ordinary person who's ignorant. I got people in my personal life like that. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't. But I said 1,000 times on this network, I would never be okay until you massively repent if you was a propagandist for the ruling class. You guys understand there's a difference between being a worker who is misled, who's a victim of the propaganda, versus someone who's actively doing the propaganda? Dave Smith, some fucking court jester. He tells jokes, get clout by telling jokes, and uses that clout to serve the empire. And we are supposed to forgive him because he's like, oops, my bad. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So this is why I had to tweet so, because some people are only listening. This is Trump's meltdown. This is where I'm starting. We got a lot of things to talk about there. This is where we're going to start. And I want your take on this, because I don't want to just, I'm sorry for ranting a lot here, but I want to get your take on Donald Trump's meltdown, where he said unconditional surrender. This is Trump panicking, by the way.
I don't know why people don't take this that way. They think it's some kind of show of like strength, and I'm like, this is panic.
This is pure panic. We know exactly where the so-called
No, you don't. But we
Yeah,
don't
there's
want
no-
to shot at civilians or Americans. You don't give a shit.
You like there's no way
American
you
soldiers die all the time in the Middle East in those bases. ISIS attacks, militia attacks, drones here and there, all the time. It never even makes the news.
that's why I don't fuck with like people are like, oh my god, Dave Smith said he was sorry. He is not a good guy. People don't know. There was a ton of libertarians I saw calling Dave Smith out. Like, this is not my community, but I've seen it. I've seen a lot of these libertarians who was upset that Dave Smith was selling out the movement to support Trump because he wanted MAGA clicks and following. So you had a ton of libertarians who didn't have channels, pages. They're not comedians trying to sell tickets for a comedy show and trying to grift on. See, they were like, hey, man, Dave Smith, here's all this evidence of reason why you shouldn't trust Trump. They was posting receipts, bro. Dave Smith cannot turn around and tell you he was ignorant. They was telling him to his face. You had a lot of these libertarians who liked Dave Smith. They attended his comedy shows. They thought he was good faith. And then Dave Smith responded to these people by trolling them, by pretending to be holier than thou, doing the lesser two evil law. He was like, oh, you want Kamala to win? You want Kamala? Oh, what's your plan? Doing the most annoying bullshit possible, gaslighting nonsense. The same shit we got from TYT. As people who was personally advocating for third parties. The TYT left was gaslight anyone on the progressive left who didn't want to support the Democratic Party. That was Dave Smith for Trump. And then people want to forgive him because he goes on breaking points and he's like, oopsies. I accidentally led my millions of followers into supporting a genocidal psychopath. Oops, my bad. Please don't unsubscribe. Please don't unsubscribe for me. Any thoughts, Sarah? Like this has been irritating me for a long time. If you guys can't tell.
No, I'm liking hearing you rant about especially the Jewish take sellers that we're playing, and I'm sure we'll get to some that are playing this whole I'm anti-imperialist, but you're not You're not really anti-imperialist, or you think that the Ayatollahs the Ayatollahs too mean. Like, it's just stupid. These people are so soft when it comes down to like actually having the convictions that are hard to have. It's easy to be anti-Israel right now. Is it easy to be or anti-regime change in Iran? Exactly. Nobody's doing it.
This is another reason I never liked them, but another reason I didn't like them because what did Dave Smith always say? And why is he invited on Piers Morgan, my friends? Why is he given these spots? Because he has relentlessly and over again condemned Hamas and Palestinian resistance. Say stuff like, I don't believe that Israel deserves. I like Israel. These are things they say. And that's why they're allowed access. And I be hearing this shit, and I be feeling like people be gaslighting me. I hear Dave Smith, I'm like, this dude is clearly a useful idiot to Zionism. Clearly. And people who thought I was just being a hater, they're like, damn, Nick, you was right about these Ian Carroll. I sniffed these people out. And then I hear people.
You and I have been calling Ian Carroll out for a while.
I hear people get lulled in by these weak analysis that lack class analysis.
They're really surface level. They're like, we talked about this. Some of the stuff I'm like, bro, why are you pulling up takes from 2016?
Yeah, shit that the anti-imperialist left covered years ago. They were discovering, like, hey man, breaking news. I scooped something out.
So ridiculous.
People like Ian Carroll be like, hey man, I scooped some stuff up. I did some own research. Hey, do you know that Palantir funded J.D. Vance? We've been knew this, dipshit.
It's really like, you know what they really do is they watch old episodes of like the Young Turks and Nick Fuentes, and they just regurgitate the stuff. Like they just figured it out. It's terrible. Yeah. It's really terrible. Yeah. It's for normies. It's really for the people that migrated over from Facebook. I mean, Ian Carroll was a TikTok 100%. Star. Him and Candace Owens are for boomers. They're boomer coded, both of them.
Yeah.
It's for people that need training wheels.
Yeah, I despise these people. If I was a grifter, because there are people who be trying to give me grifter advice. It's weird. Yeah. People are like, why are you going hard at Dave Smith? You want to invite him on? You want to be a part of it? Why are you giving me advice to grift, motherfucker? I despise these people. I don't want to be
go on BBC. I'm like, good.
They're like, Nick, you want to burn this bridge forever with Dave Smith? Don't you want to interview him?
Dave Smith?
No, I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to be part of this club.
Deal. Like, what do these people care? Like, these people have no convictions. That's what I'm talking about. That's why
Yeah.
nobody ever wants to work with you and I, because they're like, you can't manipulate these people. They are not viable. That's what happens. That's why we get so much shit, because it's like, if I got to burn, like that thing that I posted yesterday, I won't bring it up because I don't know if you want me to, but people are like, aren't you scared? And I was like, hell no.
We talk about it later if you want to. A little bit later.
I will call somebody out if they are not sticking with their convictions. These people have no convictions. None.
Yeah. People in chat, I was trying to fix my audio. I know I'm having audio issues. Let me know how the audio.
I don't hear it.
Really? Let me know, guys. I saw someone said. I know I've been struggling with my audio. I thought I fixed it, but let me know, guys. I'm trying to get this fixed.
I don't hear any problem.
But the thing is, people, I don't give a shit about being part of the club. Like,
no, I abhor most of these people so much that I don't want to be part of the club. Like, I don't, even if like sometimes you're given that opportunity, come on Mario space, blah, 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 like, you know, all that crap, you know, you're given those opportunities. Most of the time I'd shy away. Like, I'm okay.
Mario, and then they invite me to the space. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
No, I don't even go on.
These people, like, and there's a good cop, bad cop strategy that had to be had, but I'm not trying to brag. I don't brag often, but do you guys think I truly have any problems? I mean, winning people to my side in politics. Yeah. It's not something I struggle with. And not people like, Nick, don't you want to win people over? You know how many people I won over?
We've been here doing this shit for 3 years. Piers Morgan invited me on his show in 2023 and I declined because I have convictions. You know, I mean, it's like these people have zero convictions, honestly. Like, they're very late to the game as well. Very late to the game, these take sellers.
My thing is, let me phrase it like this. I was a Bernie supporter, and there was people who warned me about it. Like, I heard the Chris Hedges criticism, and I was like, yeah, I duly noted, but let me try this. You know what I mean? And the people who was shaming me and telling me I was wrong in supporting Bernie, they was right. And then once I realized they was right, and then once I realized Bernie was a sellout, I felt kind of ashamed. You know what I mean? And that is what eventually led me to my politics. If you are someone who is good faith, and this is something that Americans need, apparently, shame works. Like 100%. Like if someone like me is calling you out for being wrong over and over again, and your response is "fuck that guy, I don't want to talk to him because he exposed how I was wrong." Like, this is what the TYT progressive Bernie left did. They said that they essentially blacklisted me because I had harsh criticism of them and their strategy. Now, if you want to blacklist someone because they're right and they criticizing you because they care about their neighborhood, this is not sports. Like, this is not a sports podcast. We're not talking about video games. This is not an MMA like community. You know what I mean? With people, oh yo, this is a toxic sport. No, this is politics, motherfucker. This is real life. You understand? Like, there's no, oh, you being mean, you being rude. Either you get on board or you're not. What are you gonna do? Continue to support corruption because I'm being mean and calling you out?
Exactly.
So anyway, we can get back on topic. That is another cycle, because I will continue to hold these MAGA propagandas accountable, because the same reason why they told people to support Trump, they told people to do that, not because they give a fuck about anything. They did because they wanted MAGA clicks when it was culturally cool to do so. So what are they doing now? Because they're fucking they changed their entire position because it's now cool to criticize Trump. They saw Candace Owens do it first. They saw Nick Fuentes do it first. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, there's the opening. There's the money. So all of a sudden, I'm going to come out and I'm going to go on Breaking Points in the Hill and say, I'm sorry.
Exactly. But they're still shitting on Nick Fuentes, saying Nick told people to vote for Kamala. So he's still there because they have to keep him at bay, because they got to steal his takes, right? Because he's not really mainstream culturally acceptable. So they take the takes that are not mainstream, but you know what I mean? This kind of up and coming mainstream. So they take the ones that are, and then they're like, Nick Fuentes is an idiot, or he didn't.
I don't like Nick, but I get it because they hate Nick Fuentes.
You should have watched his show last night. It was phenomenal. And I literally held a space, and somebody sent me a clip of Nick Fuentes' on his show on October 8th. And he literally said, Israel will bomb the nuclear centrifuges. Israel will go to war with Iran. The United States will join in. It's literally just Bang, 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 bang. Talks
Nick, he's good on Zionism. I'm not a fan of his Nazi apology. I'm not
I
a
get
fan.
it. I get it. I totally get it.
His reforming Nazism, that kind of stuff makes me the fact that he organizes based on race, not on class, like the complete antithetical belief what I believe in.
Right.
But he is interesting. Like despite all these things I say, like you will be lying to yourself if you don't think that he's an interesting character. And I can't stand his ideology, but he's 100% interesting dude because the Republican Party and the Republican establishment hate him the same way Democrats hate us. You know, the same way that the TYT left liberal crowd, they can't stand us. They can't stand RBN. We are enemy number one according to them. There's a reason why we are ranked like the most unreliable according to media. There's a reason why I'm blacklisted by 90% of independent media. They hate our guts. And that's how like the right treats Fuentes. Like even Tucker doesn't even say his name. Like it's very interesting to see. So guys, you guys know I don't fucking like his ideology, but he's an interesting character. Like
maybe we'll become the Nick Fuenteses of the left, and we'll be like the people that like the Young Turks be like, I don't even want to talk about them. I'll just steal their takes.
Yeah. I'm gonna get back on topic.
So yes, anyway, that we'd have to get off on a tangent about that. It's about the take sellers in MAGA, and you'll watch them.
Yeah. People like Nick Fuentes crack me up. Like I'm not actually intimidated. People like
Nick, you are black though. Yes, thank you.
Yes, like people like Nick Fuentes is hilarious to me because they're gonna be complaining for the rest of their life about the fact that brown people exist. he do this whole thing like, oh my God, why can't we have a white nation? Why can't we have a white nation? It's because you guys engaged in imperialism. Your generational wealth came from the fact that you stole trillions from the global south. You took our ancestors as slaves, and then you were like, why can't we have a white nation? Your ancestors chose that for you, sir. Yeah. So people like Nick Fuentes, they're actually pretty hilarious to me because you complaining.
Yeah, but now they're coming around.
I'm not going anywhere for him.
Well, yeah, but they're also, I mean, there's room for growth everywhere. They have room to change. Yeah. They're not even like really, I mean, they're married to a lot of their like ideology, but I really don't want to talk about Nick Fuentes and the Groypers. But I do want to suggest that you do watch the show from last night. It was really, really good. And he also went on Alex Jones yesterday, and he was also very good, which is good. We need people like Nick Fuentes to keep going on Alex Jones because Alex Jones believes in Palantir and MAGA still. Yeah,
I agree. I was only laying it out because I'll let you guys know I don't like Fuentes' ideology, but I do find him interesting. Like the way, like the chaos he is causing. You had to be a liar to say you're not enjoying what Nick Fuentes is doing to the right. I love it.
During wartime, your two best, like I'm not even kidding. Your two best hype men are going to be Nick Fuentes in politics and Jackson Hinkle. Like those are your two biggest war.
Dude, whenever Jackson Hinkle and Nick Fuentes, whenever they clash, it's literally the most retarded, hilarious
into another galaxy. Like it's bad what he's doing in Laura Loomer on that platform. But anyway.
Oh yeah, if Nick Fuentes is destroying Laura Loomer. That's highness.
Nick and Jackson are beating the crap out of her.
Yeah, she's going through some things. Like people like Laura Loomer, it would have been way better if Trump lost. And for a lot of MAGA influencers, because they could have repeated conspiracy theories about how the election was rigged. Trump can ride off in the sunset, and then people can pretend that the only reason Trump didn't win because the establishment didn't want him to win. The fact that Trump won, Kamala lost, the Democratic Party was punished for genocide, while at the same time MAGA is being completely exposed. This is glorious. This is glorious. So there are a lot of strong direction by the White House, and you're gonna hear a lot of this in the Ted Cruz interview we have coming up. Once again, we had a lot of coverage today. I know you have a few things you want to cover as well. You mentioned it. We will get to it here very soon. We'll get there. But this is something I found from our brothers at Hotspot, and we are planning on. I think we're aiming for Friday. We're aiming for our first ever Hotspot live with me, Nico Howe, David Hadayan. 3 black brothers destroying empire propaganda. That's gonna be fire. That's in the work. We're aiming for Friday though, and we are seeing this everywhere, and it's very important to know what our enemies are saying. This is Hotspot. The White House had reportedly emailed influencers and Republican politicians with talking points to justify U.S. intervention in Iran. So what they did is so desperate. So even though Trump is deeply unpopular among the American people, he is extremely popular among people who vote for the Republican Party. Like among the people who vote Republican, Trump is still very popular. Now, I don't know the number on top of my head, but highly above water, I would imagine, right? So the establishment, the Republican establishment, in order to sell an unpopular war to their base, they're using Trump to do so because they see that Trump is still extremely popular. You guys see how Trump is here to serve the empire? You see the role that he plays to sell empire. You have a ton of white dudes who was done with the Republican Party after George W. Bush. Like, the establishment was folding. Like, it was so bad that white dudes voted for a guy named Obama. That's how fucking bad it was for Republicans. So they needed some guy to make the Republican Party cool and still sell neocon Zionist agenda. And that was Donald Trump. So essentially, in a nutshell, I know I'm kind of laboring this here. You cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. I trust Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been consistent that he said he would never allow Iran to have a weapon. You guys see the boat here. And this is the messaging that's coming out across the board. President Trump has never wavered in his stance that Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon, a pledge he made repeatedly, both in office and in the campaign trail. Now, to be fair, this is one of the main things we warned the MAGA influencers about, right? That Donald Trump escalated war with Iran the first time, pointing out the Iran nuclear deal. They accused Biden, who was tough on Iran, of being too weak on Iran, which is a sign that he's going to plunge us to war with Iran. How many times I tell you guys on the channel, it's not even a complicated analysis. So technically, they're telling the truth here. So essentially, the messaging coming from the White House and the Republican Party is, hey, Trump has already said, he always said he wanted this. He always said that he wanted to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon at all times. So you're going to see a lot of people repeat the talking point that Iran must have a nuclear weapon. Before I continue, anything you want to ask, Sarah, any response to the Republican?
I saw this, though. Yeah, I saw this. This is normal. I've seen these before for other things. Yeah. Not shocked, but still interested, if that makes sense.
This is the last.
This one is I
can't wait
out of control.
Yeah, I can't wait to get your take on this. I'm gonna play the video real quickly. I have a hotspot video coming on this. I didn't have a chance to finish it in time though for the stream to show you guys. So we're gonna do the segment live with Sarah. I was like, man, let's do this with Sarah. Actually, I'm not even gonna. I want to get your thoughts on this. Here, Friedrich Merz, the BlackRock Chancellor of Germany. It's always very important you always bring that up at any chance you get. I always call him the BlackRock Chancellor because Europe is literally governed by BlackRock. He explains directly how Israel is doing the dirty work of the West by engaging in war with Iran. These neocons, they say the quiet part out loud. It's literally crazy. I'll play it, and Sarah, you can go in right after I'll stop pausing.
Ist das nicht sehr verlockend, die Israelis jetzt die Drecksarbeit machen für ein Regime, das sehr viele in der Welt als einen wirklich großen Störfaktor wahrnehmen?
Frau Zimmermann, ich bin Ihnen dankbar für den Begriff Drecksarbeit. Das ist die Drecksarbeit, die Israel macht für uns alle.
He said, thank you for using the term dirty work. Sarah, what's your initial reaction? I know you said you saw this before. What's your reaction to this?
He's just been saying the craziest things. But I do appreciate this because there's this overarching theme in the United States, especially among some of these MAGA take sellers, that Israel is dragging the United States into the war, which is funny because now the Zionists are coming out of the woodwork and saying, no, we're doing your dirty work. That's a Zionist talking point. Let's all be honest that the two walked hand in hand into this war after they planned it out for 30 years. I don't know why we know why he's spitting out Zionist talking points, because he's a BlackRock executive. And just like Peter Thiel said, they defer to Israel.
Can someone please explain to me, because Germany always had to support Israel, right?
Yes.
Someone please explain to me how white people and Europeans, they pulled the biggest con job of all time because they managed to redirect the sins of Europeans and their anti-Semitism to the Palestinians. Because if you was to ask me, and I personally have no objections, maybe you guys might put back on me on this, but me personally, I will have no objections after World War II. Europe decide that, hey man, we need to have a Jewish state. Let's take Germany. You know that country that was fucking everyone up for the last 30 years?
Right?
How about we take this country and we turn it to a Jewish state? Put back on me if you guys, if you want, but I will have no problem with that. Take the Nazi scum that live in Germany. They no longer have a state. Give it to the victims of the Holocaust. Let them have Germany. Why the fuck did the Palestinians, why was they punished because of the centuries of anti-Semitism in Europe? So because of white guilt, well, to be honest, that's not even really the best way to phrase it, because we already know they want the reason why they're not the best way to frame it is because they want a colony in the Middle East. And they're not guilty about the Holocaust. They're not guilty about killing Jews. So that probably wasn't the best way to frame it. They was taking that tragedy, the tragedy of the Holocaust, and you know their ideology, never let a tragedy go to waste. So let's take the Holocaust and use it to build that colony we always wanted in the Middle East. So how did Germany win out of this scenario? Because now Germany is the main funder of Israel. They got their fucking colony where Germans go all the time and live in Israel. Now they're completely protected by the West, the nuclear umbrella, the benefits of the EU after committing sins. Meanwhile, the Palestinians have to suffer. And these scumbags, they have the nerve to quote the Holocaust to explain why they're killing Palestinians. Can someone explain how that makes any sense? Anyway, I don't have to continue with this video. I just always say, whenever I see German Zionism, nothing pisses me off. Well, there's a lot that pisses me off, but that's one of the top ones.
Why? The Nazis loved Zionism too. I mean, they loved it. They thought it was great. They love imperialism. They understand it. Germany also, after World War II, and it really took hold during the Balkans, Germany has a policy of pretty much self-determination for whoever wants it, unless, they live in Russia or the East. But self-determination for all minorities that want it. So unless they're Russians in Ukraine. But that's literally what they believe, and that's why they back Israel so hard, and as well as the guilt, and that's why they back Kosovo really hard too.
So it's only a short clip. I'm gonna play it again.
It's also imperialism. Well, it's mostly imperialism, but they use you know what I'm saying. They use the self-determination thing.
Yeah, seeing this Nazi scum, BlackRock scum, BlackRock who directly benefits from the Gaza genocide, BlackRock directly installing European leaders. The same way that Emmanuel Macron, he was propped up by the banks, Keir Starmer, Europe has completely been conquered. Like what Marx predicted a long time ago has already come to pass in Europe. It's complete capitalist dystopia, just like South Korea, by the way, too. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Like I got to do a stream about the I think with the Hyundai family. I was doing some reading, like, bro, the Hyundai family got people murdered, bro. Like I gotta do it. This is a stream for another day. But you guys know I like to share shit I was reading about. Bro, like South Korea is a complete capitalist dystopia.
It really, really is.
One day I will do a stream.
It about really, really is. People have no idea. It really, really is. It's bad.
Bro, there are people who get sent for prison for 15. There's a dude who got sent for prison for 15 years for writing poems praising North Korea. It's a complete dystopia. Like everything that people say about North Korea.
60, 80 hours a week.
Yeah. And Hyundai literally got workers killed. Like they were responsible for accidents that murdered children, and they face no accountability.
Sort of like civilized model minority, and I guess we kind of tuck them under the Japanese, who we really uphold as this sort of model civilized minority. And then, so it's like they're the beacon of capitalism, and it's like they're miserable and they don't even have kids because they're so miserable.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so good.
I'm gonna do a stream on that another day. One day
I'm halfway through it, and it is worth every minute. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Tucker reigns supreme. I'm sorry, hate his politics, hate his opinions. He is the greatest interviewer of our lifetime. And if you go to Tucker's page and actually read down the timestamps, you can see the sort of Now, I don't like to use the word narrative, but the story, like he's getting Ted Cruz to tell on himself. It's amazing. Amazing. It was such a masterclass in just mind games. It was crazy. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a gem, guys. This is gold. You know how bad this beatdown was?
It was bad.
Let me pull the screenshot. They actually covered it. I'm not gonna show you guys the CNN segment. The way they covered it was funny. You guys know I'm a nerd. I like to see it. But you know it's bad when it's covered on CNN.
Yep.
Bro, Ted Cruz got a beatdown of a lifetime. And it's a shame because Tucker is just engaging in journalism.
Yeah.
Like, what Tucker did to Ted Cruz is the same thing I did to Ro Khanna. You guys remember the Ro Khanna interview where I had that motherfucker stuttering?
Yeah, that was this.
That was this. Like, so you guys know I'm a fucking Tucker Carlson hater. And have you ever been a hater and then someone you hate on says something funny and you're just sitting there like, fuck, God damn it. That's how I feel when I watch this interview. I can't stand Tucker, but the whole time I had a smile on my face like, God damn it, this motherfucker killing it.
Yeah,
I can't stand it.
Halfway through it, and guys, I promise you, there were 2 parts I replayed 3 times because I couldn't breathe. I was laughing hard at he just clowns him throughout this interview. He
fucking bodied him so bad. This man murdered Ted Cruz 2028. It's done. It's not, bro. There's no legitimacy, and now Zionists are spamming their troll farm accounts. They are doing damage control. We're gonna get to that very soon. Dude, the damage control after this interview alone, I was just bathing in that over the last few hours. Sarah, seeing like the response. Bro, they said the guy from Princeton, the best among them, Ted Cruz, he's the genius. They always, even Democrats, like, you gotta admit that Ted Cruz, he's their guy, the debate me, bro, that's here to defend Zionism from the dumbass Tucker Carlson.
In the space, they're like, I'm not really a Ted Cruz fan, but I'm Republican, and I have to say that he admitted that Ted Cruz got his ass handed to him, but he was like, Ted Cruz is very good at debating. I was like, according to who? Like, and then I guess like there's this whole mythos about him being a debate, good debate, bro.
Yeah, that's their lore. That's establishment lore. Like, even among the mainstream, you see it all the time. Like, Ted Cruz, he's a famed debater. He was a Princeton fucking golden child. He was a prodigy in politics. He was a prodigy in law. It is bullshit. And it's another example of why I take doctors away. You guys know I took doctor's degrees. I have zero respect for elite academia. Anyway, I'm hyping this clip a lot. Let's play the clip, and I will dive more into that thought process more. Let's watch the clip. This is the clip that's going around everywhere. This is the first one. Tucker Carlson, he got great advertisement. This is the first clip he released, but every clip has been a banger. But this is the one that's been spreading like wildfire, so we start here.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population at all. No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay.
You guys know this.
Now, this next part, when you play it, I want to take a pause after he asks. Go ahead, can you play this next question really quickly? He asks him one more question about this.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure I play it. One thing I want to bring up. You guys know the argument I've kept making? How many times have I brought up the population difference between Israel and Iran? I have done how many segments? I made how many tweets about the fact that Iran has 90 million people versus Israel's 9 million? I explained to you guys that it's literally impossible, physically impossible, for Israel to ever fight Iran and defeat them without the United States. You guys know how I know that? Because I know basic facts about Iran. I knew the fact they have a massive country. It's an extremely mountainous area that's extremely hard for even giant conquering nations to possibly take over. It's a very hard state to take over. There's a reason why the Persian Empire lasted for such a long time. There's a reason why the Persians are so resilient. So if you don't know anything about that, that's why they're selling the idea to dummies that Israel can beat Iran without United States help. Because the only way you can believe that if you don't know basic shit like how many people live in Iran. You know how you're able to be convinced by your AIPAC handler? You know how you're able to be convinced by your AIPAC babysitter that Israel can defeat Iran in a war by themselves? When you're a dumbass and don't know how many people live in Iran.
That's a great.
So it is kind of unreasonable to expect that every leader know trivia of every single country. That's kind of unreasonable. But you goddamn well better know the population. You better know the state bird. You better know the design of the flag.
Well, I know it because I love that flag. But
You
yeah,
better know the favorite poem, the poem of the state. You better be able to read the Constitution backwards. If you're advocating for the destruction of a state, nigga, you better be a history expert.
They don't think it's a big deal. Like, we do this all the time.
Exactly. Anything else you want to add? I'll play it from the beginning again because I know you want to. Actually, I'll play it from the beginning again because I know you want to chime in at one point. I'll play it from the beginning for the full.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population at all. No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah. How could you not know that? I don't sit around memorizing population tables. Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government. Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant? Because if you don't know anything about the country... I didn't say I don't know anything about the country. What's the ethnic mix of Iran?
That part.
They are Persians.
That part.
Okay, predominantly Shia. Okay,
it's not even. People have to realize what I hope. This is the problem with Americans. MAGA goes, why does he got to know that? That's stupid. Tucker was just trying to make him look dumb. And I'm like, no, you're too historically retarded that you don't realize what he's trying to show him is at this point, he had already agreed that Iraq was a disaster. Ted Cruz was against Iraq, by the way. Tucker was for the war in Iraq. Ted Cruz was against it. Ted Cruz still married to the idea and the understanding that Iraq was a disaster. What he's doing here is showing that's what happened in Iraq. That's why Iraq turned into a disaster, because you toppled the government without knowing a goddamn thing, excuse my language, about the state, about its people, and about the population. That's why he's doing it. But Americans didn't get it. They're like, he's being an elitist. He's being mean to Ted Cruz. Not to mention Ted Cruz went to Princeton. So this shouldn't really be out of the realm of things that he knows.
Bro, the quote about this is hilarious. And I'm going to show you guys how people are making excuses like Mark Levin for him right now. But that exchange is absolute gold because Tucker grills him about the population, which I explain why that's relevant. I explain why knowing the population you want to wage war against is probably one of the most important things to know. You know what I mean? So then he gets the population question wrong. Okay. Let's not everyone can bat 1,000, right? Okay. So Tucker gonna ask him something basic. So so Ted Cruz like, oh, I don't know the population. I don't know that part, but I know about Iran. So Tucker Carlson like, who are the people who make up Iran? Sure, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Imagine someone like, hey, who makes up the population of Mexico? And you're like, oh no. You know how fucking dumb you would be? You know how fucking clueless you have to be about a society to answer that way? I'll play that part again because that's very underrated. Do not even know the ethnic makeup?
About the country. I didn't say I don't know anything about. Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
I didn't say I didn't know anything about the country. Who's in the country? I don't know.
They're Persian.
I didn't say I didn't know anything about the country. Who's in the country? I don't know. The fuck you talking? What are you talking about?
Who lives there? I have no clue.
This is the best they have. This is their intellectual giant. There's only 2 senators in the state. Texas is a large state. Out of the entirety of Texas, this guy is top 2, apparently.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Like this is, I can analyze every second.
Like, I don't know that, and I'm like, you're not a Princeton graduated, law educated politician, senator from Texas. What are we talking about? That's supposed to be like you. They're supposed to be better than us.
All right, I'm gonna let a lot more of it play this time. Yeah, it's gonna be very hard though. It's very hard.
Whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million, why is that relevant? Because if you don't know anything about the country, I didn't say I don't know anything about. Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran? They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, it's not even. You don't know anything about Iran. So okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran. You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government. You're the one who claims anything about the country. No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. No,
You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out
I'm
if it was a
saying
good
you
idea
don't
to kill
believe-
General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
They're trying to murder Trump.
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe
we're
that,
carrying out military strikes today.
you said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not
at all.
bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
This is
Israel.
high stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
You guys see how it's completely you guys see how it's completely incoherent to hold the belief that Israel is working separate from the United States, and whenever you try, you are twisted into a pretzel. Sarah, any response to this clip? I'll go to the next one.
You're breaking news. This is really big. You're a senator. You have to watch the whole thing because Ted Cruz talks about Iranian hitmen trying to murder Trump. He talks about the guys in Butler, PA being Iranian. It's bonkers.
Yeah. Like, bro, like this man absolutely cooked them. Like, actually, let me show you guys this one first. I'm gonna show you guys the cope on there just a little bit before I get to the next clip. Because everyone was trying to say, "Oh my God, he just trying to use gotcha questions." He didn't have any points. Like this is one of them. This is the I'm glad that there's a tweet. This is the Zionist lady who was brown, and now she's like a white lady now, I guess.
Oh wow!
Look,
is that Janine Pirro?
They all got the same face.
Bridget, yeah.
They all got the same face.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Here's a tweet. I don't know where. Here it is. If 90 seconds,
Gabriel, yeah. She's Lebanese. She changed her name.
She changed her name. That's crazy. That's crazy. She said if 90 seconds of gotcha trivia questions about Iran geography and demographics is the best Tucker Carlson has for this interview, it must have not gone very well for him against Senator Ted Cruz. Oh, you guys see how this was their coach? Ted Cruz was the great white hope for these people. They was. Is it delusion or maybe I don't know. Did they really expect that Ted Cruz was going to go there and destroy them?
The rest of them are retarded, so they see he's like their smartest retard. You know what I mean? Then they're like, "Oh, all hail Ted Trump or Ted Cruz because Ted Trump, same thing. All hail Ted Cruz because I'm not as smart as him, also retarded." You know, it's like what is this? What's the population of the Death Star? Are we going to war with the Death Star? See how these people, they don't even live in reality.
This is the best they have. Like, you guys see how Mark Levin, he was watching that interview like a hawk. You know, everyone was, bro. Why do you guys think Trump went on a tirade against Tucker Carlson? Where he was calling Tucker Carlson kooky. I got that receipt somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let me show you guys. I don't know why the fuck did I save that?
We should touch on that as well. Tulsi Gabbard should resign.
Where the fuck is it? Damn, but here, I'm gonna find the receipt, but I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. The tweet where Trump laughed out Tucker. Let me try to see if I can find it. He called Tucker kooky. Maybe he lashed out Tucker because he knew this interview was coming out. I don't know when the interview was recorded because Tucker pre-records an interview. This wasn't live.
I think it was done on Sunday, actually. Sunday or Monday.
I don't know how the timing works out, but you guys see how my point is because I can't prove that yet. They knew that they had to go send someone at Tucker. Trump was tweeting about him. They had to send a heavy hitter. Ted Cruz was the best they can possibly find, and they was watching. Now they all tweeting these cope memes.
Instead, MAGA will just make AI memes about it and cope. Go. I can't stand these people. I can't with these people anymore. They don't take anything seriously. This guy's another nutcase. Absolute nutcase.
Yeah, if I had more time, I could dive more into the Mark Levin.
People that haven't even they don't even have they're in officer level 4, rank 4 in the military, leading us into World War III. It's real estate agents and a dude that served in the National Guard. I have not felt like I was in more unqualified hands than now. And Tulsi Gabbard is the only one speaking sense in there. We are in trouble.
We're cooked, bro. We're cooked. But hey, don't worry. The people who got us into this, the people who did propaganda that got us in this situation, don't worry, guys. They say they're sorry. Don't worry. That's all good. Here's Mark Levin. If I had more time, I would dive into this beef that I've been witnessing between Mark Levin and Tucker Carlson, where Tucker is cooking this boy. Cause this man Mark Levin is taking so many L's, just like the way that Laura Loomer is being ratioed to death by Nick Fuentes and Jackson Nickel. That's Mark Levin at Tucker Carlson. He's watching this interview with like a hawk because he's been having shows. He's one of the few people I'm like, man, I'm gonna watch his meltdown because he's been absolutely having a hard time with MAGA pushing back against this war. Because remember, neocons, it used to be easy to sell these wars. For the first time, they are now facing pushback on the right, not among the crazy communist fucking jihad scum that they used to attack. And you can see they're rattled in a different way. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but they're rattled unlike anything they've seen before because they see their own betraying them. Maybe almost you guys see it too, because I see another level of unhinged. You can even see it in his body language with the video being unmuted.
Yeah. So where are they? They're nowhere. How about China? Nowhere. How about Russia? Nowhere. What happened to World War III? There is no World War III. They all sound like a bunch of Marxist Islamists. They don't sound like patriotic Americans. Let me be clear. This is good versus evil. You're either a patriotic American who's going to get behind the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, or you're not. One other thing.
He called Tucker Carlson. He said, you see how you reference patriots. He said, you guys think you're patriots? You are Marxist Islamists. Bro. Like, think about it. If you're a Tucker Carlson, that's like him calling you the N-word, bro. If you're like among these white conservatives, a white dude calling another white conservative a Marxist Islamist, that's like the worst insult that he could possibly come up with. And you guys see how emotional he is? Bro, it's personal. You know, they're seeing the empire crumble. They're seeing Zionism.
Yeah, that's why they act like this. We keep explaining this. Yeah, every time you're like, they can't get any crazier. This is them losing power.
Yep. Man, God damn it. Our shows always go by so fast there. We almost already an hour in. Yeah. Now let's play this clip. Damn, I might have to trim a little bit of the segment. But here's a clip I 100% have to show you guys. Because as Sarah said, I recommend watching this whole thing. I saw a little bit of your coverage of your space of it. But this is another moment we can tell that Ted Cruz immediately regretted coming on Tucker's show because he asked him, and I don't know why, I don't know what he thought Tucker was going to say, but he's like, what foreign policy mistake have I made? What dirt do you have on me? I'm like, bro, you just teed this man up. Anyway, let's play. This is glorious.
And I see an unending string of foreign policy disasters that have impoverished and hurt our country.
Unending string.
Unending string. They would include Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, and our inability to stop the Houthis, by the way, in Yemen, which exposes us as weak, and I grieve over that. So these are failures. You helped preside over some of them as a member of the Senate.
What failures, foreign policy failures, have I presided over?
Sir? He's supposed to be a good debater. You gotta know rule number one of debating is not teeing up your opponent to attack your weak point. You protect your weak point. This motherfucker literally gave him he gave up his back. Like they was grappling, they were doing so he just gave his back up with no resistance. Why would you tee Tucker up like that? Like that's not the easiest question to possibly answer.
Failures, foreign policy failures have I presided over?
Well, we were unable to beat Russia in the war that you supported against Russia. You've been spending the last 3 years telling us that Vladimir Putin is evil and we're going to beat him with other people's children, and 1 million of those kids are now dead. You've never apologized for that. That was a full failure.
By the way, look, the level of number of falsehoods you lay out just in one statement are rather.
You haven't supported the war against Russia?
Are rather stunning. So the war against Russia was caused, which I have explained at great detail, by Joe Biden's weakness.
But you supported the war.
If you want to talk, we can talk Russia and Ukraine. I'm happy to talk about it.
They really think that it goes from like one country to a different country every time we switch presidents. They're like, it happened. Like, it's like so compartmentalized. It's like, we've been working on Ukraine since the 40s. Like, what are we talking about? It's so bizarre. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's a great point. Motherfucker, you're a senator. You don't have term limits like president.
October 7th. Everything started on October 7th. It did not all start in February of 2022, Ted.
Yep. That's a great point, Sarah. I'll let it continue.
And I'm happy to talk about it.
Do you think that's been a success?
No, it's been an absolute disaster.
Okay, but you supported it. Shouldn't you apologize?
No, you should apologize.
What the fuck is wrong with this dude? So he's like, hey, Tucker, give me one example of anything I did that was a foreign policy disaster. The Ukraine war. Yeah, you're right. That was a disaster. Do you forget the original argument that you was making, sir? Anyway, sorry. He literally conceded the original point that the foreign policy decision you made was a disaster. Are you serious? This is what passes as the best mind in America? Unbelievable.
By Joe Biden's weakness.
But you supported the war.
If you want to talk, we can talk Russia and Ukraine. I'm happy to talk about it.
Do you think that's been a success?
No, it's been an absolute disaster.
Okay, but you supported it. Shouldn't you apologize?
No, you should apologize. I'm not going to engage in the demanding of apologies. So I'm like,
that's my point. Is all these failures and no one ever says I'm sorry.
Matter, or do you just throw out like if you want to talk, we can talk.
Okay, I do. I want to know why that seems like a true disaster for the United States.
Wild. I'm not to that part yet. That Ukraine rush is in the second half. You should see the one part. Ted goes, all right, well, could you not be so smarmy because Tucker's just wiping the floor with Ted? And Tucker goes, yeah, you're right. That's something I really got to work on. But he's so sarcastic. It's just the whole thing is just masterpiece. But
absolutely,
please go watch it, guys.
Absolutely frying this man. And you guys see how he's stumbling? He's setting himself up for traps. He's like, no, you need to apologize. Well, we would. And the Tucker's like, what do you mean? That's something you do when you panicking, bro. I'm not being holier than now. I've been there. There've been times where and you guys can't lie. You've been there too. We all been in times where we arguing with someone and then they bring up a point that's devastating. You like, do you say something? You say something stupid, and you're like, fuck, what I say that? That would tell you need to apologize. Tucker, like, what are you talking about, bro? That's Ted Cruz in complete panic mode. He knows he was sent on a mission by AIPAC, by the Zionist lobby, to deliver for him, and he realized that he's failing. It's pure panic, and this is the moment where he knew. Well, I'm pretty sure this happened many times in the interview, where he knew he fucked up. And the reason why it's extremely important to call Ted Cruz, and I'm gonna show 2 more clips, and then Sarah,
that's fine. You got time.
All right, cool. Because I got. So I'm gonna show these 2 clips, and Sarah, I'll pass to you if you have anything you want to add. It's 2002 all over again. the same way he said that clip.
Oh my God, good. I'm so glad you have this. Great.
Yeah, you guys know me and Sarah. We always cook. We always learn cooking. It's always fun doing these shows, right? So just like in 2002, when George W. Bush told the world that God told him to wage war in the Middle East, what did George W. Bush say? He said, you're either with us or you're against us. That was Mark Levin saying on Fox News. Either you're a patriot, you're with us on this, or you're a Marxist Islamist.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, if that's the conditions you're giving me, I want to ask my Muslim brothers and sisters what direction I'm supposed to face when I pray again. Like, if that's the options I have, like, then I guess Allah is my man now. Like, anyway, so they going back to that line again, and now here Ted Cruz going back to the WMD's line again. Let's repeat this, and this is the same talking point that Trump is repeating.
You need an ICBM to get to America. If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, I think the odds are unacceptably high that we would find out with a mushroom cloud over New York City or Los Angeles or Tel Aviv in Israel. And you need an ICBM. That's
George Bush. George Bush was the one who said when we will be like whatever he said, smoking gun turns into a mushroom cloud. Mushroom cloud. That's a nod to George Bush.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys this clip since you got some time, Sarah.
Oh, the AIPAC clip.
So this will be the last one I show on this one. I'll let you have some more, but this will be the last one we don't have any from. I think we had a lot of fun covering this story.
This is good. I'm not done.
Didn't know where we were gonna cover the whole 2 hours
again about it, but yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Sarah, I didn't make you off.
I'll probably open another space today and do the second half of it, but yeah, this.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna join. I was listening to a bit. You guys were cracking me up as I was preparing the show here.
I was screaming. I couldn't even breathe. Yeah. It was so funny.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, dude, this is like, thank God we got Sarah going today. This is Ted Cruz being grilled about AIPAC by Tucker Carlson, and it does not go well. This is a 3-minute clip. So I'm gonna start here.
It's weird. We're talking about isolationists, the obsession with Israel. Why is Israel?
Oh, I don't think I'm obsessed with Israel.
Okay, but I think a lot of people are. And like the question, Israel spies on us. Well, so does every other country. Why are you mad at Israel?
I guess. Oh, no. I'm hardly the one who's. I've never taken money from the Israel lobby. Have you?
Taken money from the Israel
From AIPAC.
So AIPAC raises a lot of money for me, but it's actually a misnomer because the people who raise money are individuals. Right. So it's not the PAC itself, but they're individual members who believe in the American-Israeli friendship and relationship.
Is AIPAC a foreign lobby?
No, it's an American lobby. It's the AIPAC stands for the America-Israeli Political Action Committee.
What does it lobby for?
So, to be honest, not a whole lot effectively. Listen, I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Great.
And I've worked every day to do that. AIPAC, a lot of times, AIPAC, I wish were much more effective. Like,
I stopped it there too. I was like, I started he wants more money. That's what he wants. He wants more money.
I love how we had the same mindset. That's the exact point you stopped at.
I almost like fell off the couch. I screamed in the space.
This man said he wants AIPAC to be more effective.
Yeah.
So you guys know that AIPAC was bragging about how 40 out of the 40 of the Democrat, it's way more, but I remember particularly this tweet. They sent out a tweet that said, Democrat candidates that is supported by AIPAC won 40 out of the 40 out of the races. So AIPAC is batting 1,000 during these elections. They have a sky high win percentage. They're able to get rid of people like Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, and Ted Cruz wants more of that.
Yes. Listen to what they're telling you, people. They're telling you.
How is this not treasonous behavior at the highest order? So in the very beginning, because there's a lot to break down, there's 1 minute. That was a hard minute to get through.
Yeah, keep going. Play it all.
Yeah, I'll play it all.
Yeah.
But
it's nuts. This is in the first half of the interview. It's nuts.
Yeah, Ted Cruz said, why are you guys so obsessed with Israel? And this is the argument that Zionists always make as the last resort. I know I've been there so many times. Whenever they're getting their ass handed to them, that's why he brings it up here. Zionists never bring up this argument unless they are getting their ass handed to you. I promise to God. I've seen it so many times. Whenever at the back foot, whenever every single Zionist talking point has been dismantled, they go to, why are you guys just so obsessed over Israel? You guys are obsessed over Jews.
Yep. You're anti-Semitic. I mean, that's just one step away from it. It's the why are you so obsessed? There's also around the halfway point. There's about a big chunk of time when Ted does the religious thing, and it gets
Jesus Christ
wild. This explanation.
I've heard about this. I haven't seen that part yet. I still haven't seen it on the interview.
Yeah, it gets wild.
I haven't seen that part yet. But Ted Cruz acknowledges that AIPAC corrupts our society, and this is one of the 1,000 answers you can get to this critique. Why are you so obsessed with Israel? For one, it's our taxpayer money funding the state. Secondly, if you're American and you're not focused on Israel, everything else you're doing in politics is a waste of time. How the fuck is Cenk Uygur going to create Justice Democrats when they had no plan to defeat AIPAC? And then they run candidates, they lose 99% of their elections, and then they act surprised. And then when they do win, they get a Cori Bush. Them motherfuckers get replaced immediately. You know why? Because they don't have a plan for AIPAC. So every American should be as obsessed about fighting Zionism and fighting Israel as I am. Because, guys, there is no domestic politics when there's Zionism around. Because you know why? Zionists are going to bankroll corrupt politicians to serve for the rest of their life. That's why Nancy Pelosi can't lose. Dianne Feinstein can't lose. Chuck Schumer, all these people, they can't lose because the corrupt, the worst among us, the worst politicians among us are bankrolled by the Zionists. There is no domestic politics until we take out Israel. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders and the progressives are like, oh my God, why can't we win? But let's play more of it. I'm gonna try to do at least 1 minute each, at least a minute each before I stop it. There's a lot to say on this interview. I'm gonna let it play a long time before I stop it here.
They're focused on Israel in the United States Senate, and I've worked every day to do that. AIPAC, a lot of times, AIPAC, I wish were much more effective. Like they're folks online who are in the fever swamp of terrified of AIPAC, and AIPAC.
I'm not terrified of AIPAC at all. You're the one who seems a little uncomfortable when I'm asking.
No, not uncomfortable at all.
I'm just asking what AIPAC does. My understanding, having known a lot of people who work at AIPAC, is that it lobbies on behalf of the Israeli government.
Wrong.
Oh, okay.
It's
when was the last time AIPAC took a position that deviated from Prime Minister Netanyahu?
All the time.
Name one.
Okay. Let me go back and give a little history. If you want to do a deep dive on AIPAC,
I don't. I want to do a shallow dive that gets. No. I want to get to the core question. AIPAC is lobbying for a foreign government, and I don't. It's not. It's lobbying for the United States.
It is lobbying for a strong U.S.-Israeli relationship.
Okay, so it's not has nothing to do with the foreign government.
It wants America and Israel to be closely allied.
Okay, but it's lobbying on behalf of the interests of another country.
So that's not true at all. And if
it's not true.
No. And
how much contact do you think AIPAC leaders have with the government of Israel?
No idea. I imagine some. I think the government of Israel is often frustrated.
Does Ted Cruz think he looked good here, being this evasive? He tried to make the argument that AIPAC doesn't lobby on behalf of Zionists on Israel. Why do you guys think they're being so evasive? Why do you think they're so evasive whenever you bring up AIPAC? They know what they're doing is wrong. They know they're corrupting society, which is why every American should be way more obsessed with AIPAC. That's why I understand, and I'll explain before, I understand the criticism. Whenever I see leftists, whenever I see anti-imperialists attack China and Russia for not doing enough to take out Zionism, it's an American problem. You can't expect China and Russia, especially China, who got Taiwan that they have to defend. You got Russia bogged down in Ukraine. You can't expect them to sacrifice a lot to take out a problem that is born from the West. AIPAC can hijack our society. What Americans going to do about it? I'll let it continue.
Mm-hmm.
Frustrated with AIPAC because AIPAC's not nearly strong enough.
Do you think there's any coordination between the government of Israel and AIPAC?
Do they talk? Sure. If you're lobbying for more U.S.-Mexico trade, would you talk to people in the U.S. and Mexico and the government? Sure. Like if.
So I'm not mad about that. There are a million countries that lobby Washington. I like a lot of those countries, including Israel.
But AIPAC are Americans. They're not Israelis.
Hold on. There are tons of Americans who lobby on behalf of foreign governments. I know them. I'm related to some of them. I know how it works. I'm from here. So my question is not, is it outrageous that foreign governments lobby the United States? They all do, okay, including Israel. My only question is, why don't we admit that is what's happening? You're denying it, but it's true.
Yeah,
and
why aren't you're saying is false.
Why aren't they registered as a foreign lobby?
Because they're not.
They're not a foreign lobby.
No, they're not. And this is that there's a fever swamp. Look,
it's not a fever swamp. These are very reasonable questions, and you've accused me of being obsessed with Israel, which I'm not.
I actually haven't. I've said
and being feverish about it, which I'm not at all. I find it's a very tender spot when you ask it, and I don't know why.
So, Tucker, all right, let's go back. I was first elected to the Senate in 2012.
That is a broken man. That's a man who knows he was embarrassed by countless millions of people. Sarah?
He actually tries to do this really interesting beta male thing. Like, oh, come on. Like, I think he thought he was going to go there and get a bunch of softballs, and then it didn't pan out. But all of that is really good, guys. I'm going to go through it. I'll probably keep talking about it in the spaces. I don't doubt that I'll cover it on Sunday because way too much stuff is happening from day to day. But I'll cover it on spaces. It's wild, but also quite refreshing because we know how many people watch Tucker. It already has 11 million views. That's fantastic. If Ted Cruz is sitting there not knowing why the hell we're going into Iran, that's what we need. We need 11 million people showing that our smartest, most brightest, and best Republican senator has no idea why we're going into Iran and lied through a 2-hour interview. And so it's actually a great service that what Tucker did. I mean, it also helps us who already knew to laugh and to have more content to teach people with, but it's excellent. The last thing I wanted to say is this is the breaking news, and I just broke this before I hopped on the stream, which is why I was running late, is that we've talked about. Well, I guess what I should say is that the Iranians have said that have obviously expressed some suspicions with the IAEA. A few days ago, I don't remember, it was 5 or 6 days ago, they said they leaked the documents and said that they found an IAEA leak that said that the Iranians or the IAEA was working with Israelis. I dug into it today. A good friend of mine, Auntie G, some of you may know her. She helped me research this. They've been working with Palantir.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The IAEA uses Palantir software for their inspections.
Look at DDG with breaking news here.
And then the Russians came out, and someone else came out and said this software can give you false positives, which means you get quote unquote dirty results, which then result in more inspections.
Oh,
so they've had 60 inspections since the year, I think it's 2018 or 2016, which is an exorbitant amount, especially for a country that doesn't have any nukes. And then what happens before we bomb Iran? The IAEA comes out and says Iran is in violation of the whatever. And
Jesus Christ!
This is the first time the IAEA or Iran has violated that in 20 years. It just so happens to be right before we want to interview them, right after Palantir gets huge contracts here and in the Middle East. It's nuts. It's nuts. I got to dig into it further, but this is what I know for now. It is wild. If you guys watched Thiel at Bilderberg, he was obviously high on every kind of amphetamine, but he does say, someone blatantly asks him about his software being used in Gaza, and he says, I'm not responsible for what the people do with my software. He says, I'm not on top of all the details of what's going on in Israel because my bias is to defer to Israel.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So if he's going to defer to Israel and he's running the software for the IAEA, isn't the IAEA going to give results beneficial to Israel?
Exactly. People had no idea, man, how evil these people are, man. This is great journalism.
Why don't we need USAID anymore? We have Elon and Palantir. They're literally already talking about shutting down the internet, shoving Starlink into these people's faces, and then broadcasting whatever they want. Where did Maidan start? Facebook. Where did the Arab Spring start? Facebook. What do you think they're going to do? They're going for regime change. And they have the two ends of the sword. The handle, the blunt end, which is Elon Musk going to hit the civilians over the head with an information war, and the sharp end, which is the warfare fighting in a Palantir. It's psychotic. We don't need USAID or our military anymore. They told you no new wars because they're not going to use boots on the ground. They have Palantir and private mercenaries doing the dirty work for them. This stuff is bonkers. It's really sick. I have not felt more sick and dreading this country and where it's going to. I think since I was doxxed and the FBI raided my house in 2023. Like, that's the last time I felt like this. I am sincerely worried about. I don't even know if I should break news like this. I mean, they're assassinating. Go look at who they've assassinated in Iran. They started with the nuclear scientists, obviously, IRGC, obviously, and now who are they assassinating? The AI experts. Who's finding these AI experts outside of Mossad? Palantir. Why would Palantir want to kill the AI experts in Iran? I don't know. Maybe because they just signed buku contracts with the Gulf. Very, very dark things are happening. Very dark things are happening. And if we don't start getting some class consciousness, and obviously not us and our listeners, but if MAGA doesn't start getting some class consciousness and understand it's not us versus them, and the them isn't the H-1Bs and the Mexicans, the them is these people, the technocrats and our government. That's the them. We are frogs in a pot right now. Frogs in a pot. And it's not just us, it's the whole world. And you want to know what? It's all sourced from America. It's all sourced from here. We're just exporting more death and destruction. Now it's just privatized. We barely even know it. It's crazy. Apparently, they've been working with Palantir since the early 2000s. Who knew?
Dude, what? Hold up. I was looking for something else. So that's great journalism, Sarah. This is amazing work. Big shout out to DDG. I was about to show you guys another clip. I found this because, and it's crazy. You were just talking about how they are assassinating AI.
Yep, they're
researchers.
hitting the state TV stations.
And you guys saw the hotspot I opened with, and we had my hotspot on this video went fucking viral as shit on both accounts. Where I explained how it's very possible that Piers Morgan collaborated with the Mossad to try to get this man killed. Because how did they know? Because obviously they aiming to kill Professor Morandi. They aim for Press TV exactly at the time when Professor Morandi is giving this interview with known Israeli asset Piers Morgan. And if your goal is to end the nuclear program of Iran, like is the stated objective of the United States and Israel, why are they targeting Press TV? Why are they targeting AI researchers? Why are they targeting Professor Morandi? Morandi was forced to evacuate in the building in the middle of an interview. I just saw this.
Target Professor Morandi, someone engaged in the information war. I don't know. The person who's trying to overthrow the government. I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk.
Yep. I'm interested in seeing this video. Not long. Dude, no one can convince me that Piers Morgan didn't get this guy killed. Piers Morgan failed, and this is them trying again. Unbelievable. This is the last thing. I found this while I was looking for something else. But there's something else. The last thing I want to show you guys, something I found just now. Trump just gave this press conference. Well, I'm going to dive in there soon. But I saw this one, and I thought this one was pretty relevant. So I haven't seen this. I saw this. This
apparently this came out too, right when we came on.
Yeah, so there's really no audio on that?
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, well, it wasn't that important. Sorry, I'm being told there's no audio. Let me refresh this. I don't know why the fuck it does that sometimes. But the audio be working, all of a sudden it stops working out of nowhere. So apparently it's not that important. Essentially, Morandi went to the guy and said, "Hey, I gotta evacuate the building," because the audio is not that important on that video anyway. You guys saw he got. The show ended. That's essentially what happened. I just know it wasn't probably riveting 50 seconds of streaming. I know that's for sure. Here's the last thing I want to cover today. I just saw this. Trump responding to the Iran. I need to see this whole press conference. I'm going to go through this because apparently this is breaking. He said, "We're long beyond a ceasefire. We're looking for a total and complete victory." Oh, Jesus Christ.
He said I was going back home to make a ceasefire.
Let me know if you guys can hear it, because it always works for me. I never know until afterwards. Let me know if you can hear it or not.
Ceasefire. Not a ceasefire. We're long beyond ceasefire. And I said, why do you say that?
Can you guys hear it? Sarah, can you hear it?
Yeah, you have audio, yeah.
All right, sorry. This shit got me paranoid.
Ceasefire. Not a ceasefire. We're long beyond ceasefire. And I said, why do you say that? Why would you say ceasefire? It's a bad term to use because a ceasefire means like everything's going swimmingly. We'll take a little time off. It's not. We're not looking for a ceasefire. We're looking for a total, complete victory. Again, you know what the victory is. No nuclear weapon. Mr. President. So I thought it was a very badly worded statement by him. And obviously I let him know that. He said,
So Trump is he's gonna get this war is gonna happen, guys. Right now the media is talking about Trump is currently mulling this over. No, the decision already been made. They're in propaganda mode.
50 gas tankers, 50 tankers flew out of the U.S. Air Force this week. That's like a third of our tankers.
And it's just crazy seeing the same stuff over and over again, Sarah. Before they launched wars, they had to have propaganda to justify it. The decision has already been made. But if you was to watch corporate media, because you guys know I do to keep tabs on what they're saying, the narrative as of this morning that CNN and MSNBC is running is that Trump is currently deciding The decision has been made yet. He's mulling it over. He hasn't having national security conferences. He's deeply pondering this. And so, no, this decision has been made. The propagandists are out full-fledged. Literally, MSNBC this morning, when I turned it on, when I finished my hotspot, they had the Israeli ambassador to the United States on there today. They have IDF members on Fox News 24/7. I promise to God, turn on Fox News on right now, and there's a great chance that there's an IDF member on right now. So they are in propaganda mode. The decision has already been made, and Godspeed to the Iranian people. And curse everyone who engaged in any propaganda that led up to this moment. Damn, we're almost 90 minutes in. Maybe I know you had a few.
No, that's it. Covered everything. All I
Cool.
really was married to was breaking the Palantir news, and everything
Okay,
else.
good.
All of the clips you included were perfect. That's exactly what I would have included. The AIPAC, that we're bombing them. It's just all of it. It's gold.
Cool. Always great doing shows with you, Sarah. That was great. I love the fact that you're getting back you into writing. You've been writing a lot of these articles and stories.
I think I'll probably write about this Palantir discovery with the IAEA, but it might take me a while, and I'll probably go to El Salvador after that.
Yeah, great journalism. We gotta protect Sarah, my friends. We must protect Sarah. Any last thoughts? Anything else you want to plug, promote, Sarah? I think we're good.
We'll see you guys Sunday, and I'll always be in the spaces. You guys will find me.
All right, cool. I might join you a little bit later tonight.
Yep.
Have a good one, my friends. Take care.
Bye.